Recorded Books and RB Digital present Beyond Team Building: How to Build High-Performing Teams and the Culture to Support Them, by Gibb Dyer and Gibb Dyer. Narrated by Brian Hutchison. Introduction. A quote from Duke coach Mike Krzyzewski. "To me, teamwork is the beauty of our sport, where you have five acting as one. You become selfless." Teamwork is the hallmark of success in sports and in business. As Ken Blanchard once wrote, "None of us is as smart as all of us." Many books on teams and teamwork, including our own, focus on how to repair broken teams in which team members are not acting as one. But this book has a different purpose. We go beyond focusing on how to repair broken teams and focus on how to create a team-building organization that will foster an environment which will create and maintain great teams from the outset. Duke coach Mike Krzyzewski's success is based on creating a set of processes and an environment that produces great teams from the outset, not just on fixing his teams when they aren't performing well. And while we cover many topics from our previous books on team building, this book will give you, the reader, a more succinct and clear description of how to create an effective team. You'll also learn how to develop a team-building organization that has systems and processes in place to regularly assess team performance for all teams in the organization and to help them improve. To do so, we take a broader view about what team building is and should mean for managers, team leaders, and team members. This book is for anyone interested in improving team performance. While most of our examples are from teams and businesses, the team-building techniques we describe can be used to help families, teams in nonprofit organizations, civic or governmental teams, sports teams, or almost any type of team that you can imagine. The book is especially designed to help organizational leaders and managers understand their roles in helping teams succeed. Team leaders and team members will find our diagnostic models and interventions particularly helpful as they try to make their teams more effective. Human resource managers, who are often assigned to help teams improve, will be aided by this book, as will team consultants and team facilitators, whose roles are to improve and strengthen teams. A brief history of team building. The theories behind what makes an effective team came out of the T group movement. The T stood for training, which in the 1960s was largely sponsored by national training laboratories. The assumption underlying the T group was that individuals, and particularly organizational leaders, were impaired by the assumptions and authoritarian top-down style that management held about subordinates and coworkers. The T group was designed to help change those assumptions and to make managers more trusting, open, and participative as they worked with others. In the 1960s, many organizations that wanted to use the T group to improve the performance of their leaders and those within the T group movement really believed in the T group as the vehicle to change the world of work by changing the values of organization leaders. By changing top management's values, these new values would eventually filter down throughout the organization to affect organization-wide change and transform the organization into having more humane and creative systems. However, a 1968 study conducted by two academics, John Campbell and Marvin Dunnett, changed most of that thinking. Campbell and Dunnett reviewed the major studies that had looked at the impact of T-group training on individuals and on organizations, and concluded that our examination of the research literature leads to the conclusion that while T-group training seems to produce observable changes in behavior, the utility of these changes for the performance of individuals in their organizational roles remains to be demonstrated. Campbell and Dunnett reported that the T group did in fact help individuals become more comfortable with themselves and their.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.